A former Hunter Biden associate is suing Fox News host Jessica Tarlov for defamation in a $30 million lawsuit.
Is it the LLC that your attorney works for?
I believe so, yes.
You believe so, okay. So at this point in time, I'd ask unanimous consent to enter into the record a document indicating that the law firm representing Tony Bobulinski was paid $10,000 as recently as January of this year by the Save America PAC, which you may recognize as Donald Trump's PAC.
Without objection.
Thank you. Now, so far in this hearing, it has felt like the worst episode of The Apprentice. I'm sure you're familiar with that show.
Tony Bobulinski filed suit against Tarlov, claiming that she lied when she said on Fox News that Bobulinski's legal fees were being paid by a Trump super PAC. At the time, Tarlov received a letter from Bobulinski's attorney demanding a public retraction and apology, and the next day she corrected her statement.
I would like to clarify a comment I made yesterday during our discussion of Tony Bobulinski's appearance at the congressional hearing. During an exchange with my colleagues about the hearing, I said that Mr. Bobulinski's lawyer's fees have been paid by a Trump super PAC as recently as January. What was actually said during the hearing was that the law firm representing Mr. Bobulinski was paid by a Trump PAC. I have seen no indication those payments were made in connection with Mr. Bobulinski's legal fees, and he denies that they were.
So she didn't technically retract her original statement, just clarified the reporting, and she certainly did not apologize to Bobulinski at any point. Still, her network backed her up. A Fox News spokesperson said in a statement, quote, Jessica Tarlov's March 21st statements were accurate and made clear that she was not aware of anything to indicate that payments from a Trump PAC to Elections LLC were made in connection with Tony Bobulinski's legal fees. We stand by our decision to not issue any further corrections and will vigorously defend against these inaccurate claims. Bobulinski is still moving forward with the lawsuit, with his lawyers insisting that the statement issued was not good enough and that the original statements were made in an effort to defame Bobulinski in exchange for better media ratings.
I want to be clear that when we were behind closed doors, you called a number of people liars. You called the Wall Street Journal liars. You called Cassidy Hutchinson a liar. You called the FBI a liar. You called Rob Walker a liar. You called James Gilliar a liar. You called Hunter Biden a liar. You called Jim Biden a liar. And just today, you added to your list, you called my colleague, Congressman Mr. Goldman, a liar as well. It seems like, according to you, the only person that's telling the truth is you and everyone else is lying.
Tarlov, by the way, is on the Fox News show The Five. And of the show's 5 co-hosts, she is the most liberal, left-leaning one. She's kind of there for balance. And we've covered Tony Bobulinski here before. I believe it was back in February. But I wouldn't fault you for not remembering who he is or why he kind of matters. So here's a quick refresher. Bobulinski was the guy who James Comer thought was going to be the key witness in the Joe Biden impeachment effort. He was a business associate of Hunter Biden's, and his testimony was supposed to tie up all of Comer's loose impeachment ends. Remember also that the impeachment efforts hinge entirely on somehow linking President Biden to his son Hunter Biden's business dealings so that Republicans could prove that the president, who according to them has dementia, is the head of a notorious crime family. So Comer struggled for so long to find a witness to offer the very specific testimony that he was looking for. So when he finally found Bobulinski, he had to go out of his way to convince people that Bobulinski was a credible witness. Also, by the way, there was no evidence backing up any of Bobulinski's claims, so his word was all that Comer had. So Comer said publicly that Bobulinski was, quote, the one solid guy that tried to do the right thing and was honest. It's like, show me, don't tell me, right? Of course, he wasn't as pristine and clean as Comer would have liked us all to believe, because after a bit of digging, Bobulinski was linked to Russian billionaire Viktor Vekselberg. Vekselberg was involved with the 2017 Russian/Putin plot to bribe the then American President Donald Trump to look the other way with $500,000 whenever Putin would decide to invade Ukraine. Vekselberg is also said to have been involved in the Russian plot to influence the 2016 American election in favor of Donald Trump. Anyway, when Bobulinski finally testified in front of the House Oversight Committee, Democratic Representative Jamie Raskin, who is on the House Oversight Committee, wrote a 9-page letter to Bobulinski's attorney and James Comer that the interview was, quote, chaotic to the point of burlesque as he repeatedly yelled, shouted, filibustered, and hurled outlandish and baseless accusations and insults against Democratic members and staff. During his testimony, Bobulinski also acknowledged his ties to Trump and the Trump campaign, proving himself to not be as credible a witness as Comer would have liked us all to believe. And now, to bring it all back around, Bobulinski is suing Jessica Tarlov for suggesting he has ties to a Trump super PAC, which calls his credibility and reliability as an anti-Biden witness into question. For his part, Bobulinski has said, quote, "This is about the truth, for which I have been fighting for 4 years. It is important for media personalities like Ms. Tarlov to understand that lies have consequences. I have consistently told the truth to the American people about the deep corruption of the Biden family and will continue to do, and I have paid my legal expenses arising from my decision to come forward out of my own pocket. I will donate every penny I may be awarded in this suit to a children's hospital and to support our military veterans." Again, just to reiterate, Bobulinski's so-called truth about the so-called deep corruption of the Biden family is not backed up by any actual evidence, just his word. So he and his word need to be publicly perceived as credible and reliable. And Bobulinski's word is all Comer has to use against Biden even now. Just last month in March, Comer suggested that the president lied when he said he wasn't involved in his son's business dealings, and the only evidence Comer provided for his claim that the president lied was Bobulinski's testimony saying, yes, Biden was involved. He referred to this discrepancy between the two testimonies as, quote, the yawning gap between Biden's public statements and the evidence assembled by the committee. However, as Ian Sams, the White House spokesperson for oversight and investigation, said in a post on X, quote, Comer knows 20 plus witnesses have testified that POTUS did nothing wrong. He knows that the hundreds of thousands of pages of records he received have refuted his false allegations. So best of luck to Jessica Tarlov in her defamation suit against people who definitely, probably don't lie or intentionally mislead people ever. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out my podcast, Modern Context. Thanks.